All right. So, in our second segment, questions chatting with him and bringing you in this chat with us. So that as we know in life, it's not always rosy. Sometimes difficult situations can arise. So in this segment, I would just like to know your thoughts from your experience so far on how to trust God even when it is hard. A lot of people sometimes, they go through tough situations and literally the only thing they have is God. If God was not in the equation, a lot of people might not survive some of the things they go through. But do you have any, experience to share on how to trust God even when it is hard?
Life is a turbulence face to face as a human being. But if you have God and know that God is faithful, then you will stay with Him, and that phase of turbulence will be over. And if that phase of turbulence is over, that does not culminate that you will not face another storm. This is the challenge of many people and even the Israelites. When a problem is solved, they will not expect another one will surface. When another one surfaces, rather than going to God in request, they start murmuring. This is why I advise people, read Bible. From the beginning of our life till death, we'll be having problem, solution, problem, solution. If you see from that concept, no problem will swift you from focusing on God. There is nobody, if you read through the Bible, that have not faced turbulence of life. But as many that deviate will miss the mark. But if you don't deviate, you will not miss the mark.
Due to the sovereignty of God, there are some answers He delays, or to us it seems like a delay. To Him it might not be delayed. To Him it might just be, I need this child to grow to a certain level before this child can handle the answer to the question. So that was what I was adding to your response. Okay, and after that, I think the next thing I started talking about was your approach to Christian service. I said that you've lived, if I'm summing up your life so far, you've lived a life of service. When it was rewarded, when it is not rewarded, when it is recognized, and when it is not, you've lived a life of total service. And I was asking, like, especially in those times where you were probably even disrespected in the place of your service, what was your anchor? What kept you going? What keeps you going? Because you're still living a life of service. You being here right now is also a life of service.
Yes, and the reason is that I don't do things unto man, even though it's done for man. My focus is I'm doing it unto God. So whether there is recognition or not, God will one day do the recognition. That has been my backbone and my strength in the service of God.
In the service to God. But how is it though, especially in areas where there is obvious disrespect, or there's another word for when maybe your ideas are not welcome?
Persecution.
When your ideas are not welcome, that will not stop you. We know in part and we prophesy in part.
Absolutely.
If the person see your heart and is not deceived, we now know that you are speaking right. But if the person is being deceived and thinking that you will help him to play to the gallery, then he will be disappointed.
Okay. So you're saying regardless, you just look at the state of your heart and you focus on God, and that keeps you going. But are there any times where you've been discouraged? Because at the end of the day, we're still flesh and blood, right?
Well, I would say there's no time I've been discouraged.
Wow.
In the sense, that is why being in the church, and the church is not in you, will not make you function the way me I function. That's why I read Bible and I read other people's book and know that you should keep going regardless who give himself to Satan to use to cause discouragement. You just keep on going.
Eyes on the prize.
Yes.
The prize, which is Jesus, the author and finisher of our faith. Hallelujah. Okay, and quickly, the last thing we're talking about was your approach to money. What is financial success from your perspective and from God's perspective?
God is faithful. If you give you a project, He will fund it.
Wow, if God gives you a project, He'll fund it. Love it.
But many people are not wise enough to know the project God is funding. They just want to compete with people and think that that is success. I don't do like that. I keep to my own bearing and the vision I have. Very few people is wise enough to keep like that. What A is doing, as good as it is, it might not be what God have apportioned for you to do.
I agree.
And if you are not fervent, you will fall into the flesh region of man. In as much as they are thinking that because you have not done this, you are less than us. No, you are in no way less than anybody. Everybody is on his own lane. Yeah, particularly if you have had the handwriting of the work clearly.
That was so profound. If God gives you a project, He'll fund it. And I think that's liberating. As you were talking, for some reason, I was also thinking about children. Children are a blessing from God. And so if God has given you that child, God will take care of that child. If God has given you that vision, God will take care of the vision. Where we run into trouble is when we send ourselves on errands and not when God has sent us on errands. So if I understand you well, you're saying we should not bring our visions to God. We should instead ask God for His vision for us.
I think that's better understood.
Wow. All right. Thank you so much, Daddy. I want us to do a closing now, just in case this thing ends. I have more questions, but I want us to do our closing. And if there's still more space, then I'll ask more questions. So for closing, I'll say, what word of encouragement do you have for someone who is listening to us today and just needs to be encouraged? Maybe has just received an unpleasant news or is just tired of the rigors of life. What word of encouragement do you have?
Know God and know His mind and stay within the mind of God.
Selah, as they say in the Bible. All right. Thank you so much for watching. I want to know your thoughts. If you have more questions for Noble, for my dad, who I call Noble, please put them in the comment section. I'll get them across to him and get the responses as well. Thank you so much. Please love upon this video. Encourage my daddy so that next time when I ask that he should please come, he would come. Please love upon this video. And if you haven't watched the previous one with my amazing mom, please I'll put the link across. Please watch that one as well. So many gems to learn from our parents. We thank God for the gift of parents. We thank God for the gift of elders. So much to learn from them, and I hope that we are discerning to maximize our time with them, to ensure that we can gather as much wisdom as we can from them. God helping us. Till the next episode, God bless you. One I would just like to ask is, what's one thing you want your generations to come to remember you for?
My impact to make sure children are properly nurtured, not to fall into error.
All right. So if I'm having the next seat with my dad, we'll take it up from this point. Nurturing children, helping them not to fall into error. All right. Till the next video. God bless you. Bye.